Okay, good morning. This is for Ophiuchus, the week of October 6th through 12. So we're going to do No, this isn't Ophiuchus. This is for Aries, but if you don't connect to this reading, I suggest you go check out Ophiuchus because mistakes happen for a reason, right? Other than just my pure organization, so. But Aries, this is you have the Two of Wands for the. We're gonna get it together, I promise. Two of Wands for Sunday, Monday. Then you have the Two of Pentacles for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And for Friday, Saturday, you have the Five of Pentacles. Overall this week, I'm going to say you may end up steering away from these ideas and pathways that you knew were set in motion, that you have all these ideas about, and you may be moving away from that and moving toward practical things that you have to deal with. If you have some passion projects that you are trying to work on, some maybe even self-employment ideas that you are trying to find independence with, you may have to put them on the back burner for a part-time or a full-time job that is going to end up paying the bills. However, whenever you do this, you're still going to be trying to do this other thing, and it looks like you may be trying to do 2 or 3 other projects on top of a regular job. And this goes beyond parenting obligations and family obligations. This is like you were writing a book and you were trying to edit it and get it pushed out, and you were trying to it looks like something you were trying to make practical out of the ether. So some creative project, like starting an Etsy store or starting something that you would sell at a flea market or something like that. So like at a booth. I'm seeing a lot of mason jars, so even mason jar goods like jars, jams and jellies and vegetables and things like that. You might be trying to set up a booth like that, and it just isn't working out for you. Every time you start to do something, you keep getting distracted, and you just kind of throw up your hands and like, fine, I'm going to go do this, because this is, even though I'm not getting a paycheck right away, I'm not getting an equal exchange for my time right away, it does end up in a paycheck. So specifically for Sunday and Monday, you have personal goals. You're trying to align your outer world with your inner world, and you're not entirely sure of how to do this. You're still figuring it out. You have plans that you're trying to make, but you're not sure where to get the information either. Be patient with yourself and keep digging, and you will find your community that you'll be able to build a more solid foundation off of. There may be some ideas that you've put up on a pedestal that these are great things and I can do great things, but I don't have the ability to right now. And that's what you're trying to move forward with. But you're also not on the same level. You need to bring yourself up a little bit to where you need to focus on learning how to do something before you fully commit to it. And for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it looks like you're overcommitted. So you may have decided to take on this course while you're doing, may even be a certification course while you're doing your regular job, and it's going to end up stressing you out. And if you're dividing up your physical and your mental abilities so much that you can't, like you're learning it whenever you're going over the information, whenever you're going over the when you're going over the coursework, it's fine. You can like parrot it back immediately, no problem. But later on, if somebody asked you a question about it, would you still have that information that you could reference in your head? Most likely not. You may be in a spot where you need to hyper focus on something in order to get your brain to focus on what's going on. You can't be multitasking, like have your brain doing one thing and then you have your hands doing another, and it's not going to work out for you this week. As much as I hate this phrase, there was one that I was always told growing up, that whatever work you do on, and it's an old phrase, whatever work you put in on Sunday, you'll have to take out with your nose on Monday. So if you're doing too much, because I'm putting this out on Sunday, if you're doing too much and you don't have the focus in order to do it the right way, you're going to end up having to go back and redo it anyway. So just take the opportunity to rest if you have one, and allow everything to shut down and even back out before you start ramping up the RPMs on that engine. So for Friday and Saturday, it looks as though you will have financial loss. It could be because you over invested in this side project that you had going. And the side project could end up taking more out of you financially than you anticipated. However, it's only going to be a total loss if you totally disregard everything and throw all of your materials that you spent the money on, the materials that you, or the projects that you almost had completed but decided to abandon, if you just decide to trash everything. Give it time and get your life back into a rhythm of, I work now and I play then. I play now, I work then. And whenever you can separate your life out, I think this is really just a call to, whenever you're at work, be at work. But whenever you're not getting paid to be at work, then step away, fully step away from it. They're not paying you to be there 24/7. Even if you're salaried, you have a set hour schedule. And if other people are violating that boundary, reassert it. Say, I'm not going to answer emails, I'm not going to answer questions at any point in time beyond like 5:30 or 6 o'clock. I will get to it the next business day. Now, depending on what your contract says, you know what your schedule is supposed to be. But just because you're earning salary does not mean they have the right to your entire life. Reassert those boundaries, and if somebody else has an issue with it, ask them why. And the only reason why anyone would need to talk to you outside of business hours is if they're not doing their job whenever they're at work or during their set schedule for business hours. And I would not be afraid to tell anybody that. Like if they're expecting you to be able to be on call 24/7. Why? Especially if you're not in an emergent kind of field like healthcare where you need to be on call. That's a totally different thing than from like an office job. And I know with healthcare there are moments where you have mandatory overtime. And you had no problem signing up for that whenever you started because it's mandatory overtime, but it's overtime. It's time and a half on top of your regular schedule. So you're like, I need money. I'm not afraid to work for it, and I'm going to go into it full bore. I'll take all the overtime and everything that you got, whatever, because you may be trying to catch up on bills. You may be trying to do, or that may have been what you were trying to do in the past whenever you started this job. I need money. I'm here to work for it. Just tell me what you want me to do, and I will be there. I'll be on call. I am your servant, essentially, because I appreciate the job, and I appreciate where this is getting me. So I need to... You may have crawled out of a situation where you were broke all the time, all of your bills were constantly overdue, you didn't have any way forward, and with that frustration, you were happy to see a way out. However, this is now the long-term consequences of that, and you may be seeing where they may have been taking advantage of you. If you are doing a lot of overtime, even if you're not doing a lot of overtime, keep an eye on your check stubs. Keep an eye on what it is that they're recording as your worked hours and how the system is billing them for your hours, because there could be a mess up with your finances. And that could be why this financial loss has come up, is that you discover that even though you've been working overtime, you haven't been getting paid overtime wages for all the overtime you've been working. This could end up being an issue that you take up with HR, or along with all this other stress, if you're multitasking at work and it's too much, you may end up quitting in frustration, because if they don't want to respect you, then they don't want you there, right? But be very careful with the position that you put yourself in. Try and remember what position you were in before you got this job, and you don't want to put yourself back into that. Even if you have a healthy amount of savings right now and you don't have too much worry financially, it may end up sending you back down into a sinkhole that you have an issue getting out of. And then if you find another job like this someplace else, you'll be just as easily overcommitted to that, and then you won't realize it until you're burning out. Well, that is going to be it for you right now for this week, Aries. I don't have anything else flying out for you, so I know I talk a lot about boundaries, but this is really where this kind of looks like it's going. So also, don't allow other people to overcommit you and say things like, oh, well, they could take care of this, or Aries can take care of that, or why don't you ask Aries to do it? There could have been a lot of stuff like that going on behind the scenes that you are just not realizing. Do try and have patience with yourself while you work through this, and while you try and figure out where you're at and where this situation stands. And that is going to be it from me for right now for you. And now it's time for my promo spiel. So if you stuck around this long, then thank you very much. And I do dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. And here soon I should be doing like personal tarot readings. So keep an eye out for that. And whenever I do start doing tarot readings, I will, like personal tarot readings, I will make an announcement or something on the channel. But you have a safe week, Aries, and thank you very much for tuning in and coming back if you are a returning viewer. Like and subscribe, please.